Hello there. I had the hopes of showing you a picture to kind of, I don't know, tell a story. But basically I was going to get one of my art journals out. However, it's not there on the shelf. But in it is a picture that I drew of, you know, the pretty metal workings of the carburetors of a Kawasaki 400. And I'd come across a Kawasaki 400 back in '89, and it was just a frame, and it had been beat up. It looked like it had been trashed by some frat kids or something, and I drug it from place to place with the hopes of taking it and rebuilding it and putting it back together. I had friends who rode motorcycles, and my roommate, she rode a motorcycle, and nobody I knew had a license. And one of my friends, Doug from New Hampshire, he had built himself a chopper, and we would hang out together, and that was pretty cool. So I always thought, one day I'm going to build myself this little Kawasaki 400. Well then, I took some summer classes once, and there was a guy who had a Kawasaki 400 in much better condition, and I got to see what it looked like for real. But I didn't have any money at the time. So that went on. Then I met a boyfriend, and we hung out together, and his brother had a dual sport Honda 550 XL, I believe it was, and I got to ride that, and my first ride was him on the back, and we didn't have any protective gear on, and the clutch cable was broken, but it's like hanging out, and he was like going like this, like like he was pulling a lawnmower, you know, cord, like underneath my arm while I was, you know, holding the grips, and he would just say shift, so I was like, you know, trying to figure out how to shift with my left foot. And it was really funny because, you know, he's doing that, telling me to shift, and I'm just like, you know, driving and trying not to hit anything. And with him on the back, and he was a good size, like 6-foot guy. And we went by some pine trees, and they're going thwack, 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 thwack. And of course, you know, they don't get me, but they almost knock him off. I didn't know that because I'm just like, you know, so excited. I'm like riding, whoa, okay, shift, okay, okay. I'm just trying to get it together. So then by the time we stopped and got away from the trees, he was like, what were you thinking? I'm like, obviously I wasn't thinking that you were in the back and you were going to get hit by the trees, because I was like, you know, kind of like ducking through the trees. So that was my first experience riding. And I wanted to ride when I was 10, but when I went off for summer camp, I had to get a permission slip signed, and my dad was like, sure, she can go ride mini bikes, and my mom said, nope, absolutely not. So my mom agreed to sign a permission slip for horses, so I got to go horseback riding. Well, that week I was at camp, I got on a horse, and we're, you know, nice and steady, one behind the other, going up like this little hill and through the trails. And why don't you know it, my horse is like a crazy wild horse, and it's sick. It bolts from the line, it storms ahead of everybody, past all the camp counselors, like the one behind and the one in the front, and we're just clipping along. And it basically was kind of like my first motorcycle ride for my boyfriend, because all the benches are going like this, and I'm furiously trying to duck, and they're like thwacking me, and eventually the camp counselor gets ahead of us and is able to like wrangle in the horse. So which is more dangerous? Horses or motorcycles? I say horses are more dangerous. Another thing, a lot of people around here have four-wheelers, and I do not like four-wheelers. I don't trust them. I don't like them. I don't like four wheels at all, being a four-wheeler. I think they're like totally dangerous, and I just imagine them like, you know, rolling over on top and pinning me somewhere. So I don't trust four-wheelers, and a lot of people who don't ride, friends of mine, they just don't understand that, because they're like, it has 4 wheels, it's got to be safe. And I'm like, it's like, I don't trust them. I'd rather be on, you know, a dirt bike, a dual sport, or a motorcycle than on a four-wheeler. So anyway, that's how I got into motorcycling. And then when I found my beautiful Honda, well, first I'll show you this here. This is this isn't the exact bike, but I remember also when I was 10 at where we got our cars fixed, there was this BMW motorcycle there. It was probably like, I don't know, probably like a 78 model or something, but it was so beautiful. And I looked at it, I was like, wow, I didn't even know they made motorcycles. And it was so beautiful. I was just like in awe by like the lines and the shape of it. And when you look at those models nowadays, they don't look that cool. But in 1980, they looked really cool. So that kind of like fueled my idea of like, someday I'm going to ride a motorcycle. And then I also like the Fonz and Pinky Tuxcadero and Happy Days. And I used to pretend my bicycle was a motorcycle as I rode around in my basement on rainy days. Or, you know, riding out around the neighborhood. So anyway, once upon a time, I was doing a internship as a school teacher for art. And there was this motorcycle on one of the roads into the, like, you know, school area. And it had a motorcycle that was covered by a blue tarp. Well, I stopped one day and I looked underneath. And when I picked up the tarp and looked, I was like, oh, that is such an awesome bike. And so I wrote down the phone number because it was for sale. And I didn't call it for weeks and weeks at a time because I was like, I don't want to hear how much it is. I don't want to know because I don't have the money, and you know, that would just, I don't even want to think about it. So eventually I took a friend of mine. I was like, hey, you want to go see something? And we drove by to see the motorcycle. I lifted up the tarp, and when she saw it, she's like, I could see you on that. And I was like, can't you? So anyway, after that, I called them, and I got the dad on the phone. He's like, yeah, my son's selling it. And his son was at Griffiths Air Force Base in New York, and he had outrun too many cops on the bike, and he decided it'd be a better idea to get rid of the motorcycle. So that's how I got it. And she's a beaut, so the first ride was my boyfriend and I taking it to 90 miles an hour. He did. I was on the back. It's like a jet engine, and there's a little da-da-da, 1985, woohoo! Such a beautiful bike. And I run into so many people that, here's my old New York thing. Yay, New York. But I run into so many people that either like dreamt of having this bike, you know, like in 85, they would like see pictures of it and they'd be like, wow, I want to have that bike someday. So a lot of people stop me and they're like, I used to have a poster of that bike, or I love that bike, or there's a cop in the next town over, he has a bike like this, except it's a maroon one. So he stopped me one day and said, hey, like, not for anything. I was actually asking for directions, and he told me about his 1985 Honda Nighthawk. So that's me and bikes, and so love them. Yours is very awesome. Wow. It's like I hope that Jesus gives me a whole bunch of motorcycles one day. Like, probably not in this earthly life, but in the new heavens and new earth, I tell him, please, 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 can I have a fleet of really cool motorcycles, and can we go riding together in the totally wonderful new heavens and new earth? And that would be awesome. And here's my lunchbox. I said that I found my first one in the garbage. They threw it out because there was no handle, and I don't care that there's no handle, because it's still pretty cool. I used to watch He-Man. I thought it was stupid, but I still watched it. It's like I couldn't help watching He-Man even though I thought it was stupid. Ooh, Battle Cat. Roar! Skeletor! And the, whatever that thing's called. Castle Grayskull. But, I would watch it. I was a closet He-Man watcher. I'd make fun of it on the outside, but, you know, at 3 o'clock I'm like, ooh, it's He-Man. Shh, shh, shh. So that's ridiculous. Yada-da-da-da. And I guess that's it. I don't know, kind of low energy today. Kind of just chilling. Not really video snappy happy today to make videos. But I just thought I'd wanted to like say something and send a video back to you. Okay? Alright.